Hi folks, Junkets here, playing Sailaway the Sailing Simulator. So I just jumped on board here, and here I am in the Bering Strait, trying to make our way through to find out whether there's a Northwest Passage or not. So, where did I start? I've been playing for a couple minutes while I straighten a few things out, but just to get everybody aware of one small thing, I'm going to press the escape key. This is my current challenge, so let's go to another boat to start things off. Just an ocean cruiser, doesn't really matter which boat we're going to. Hopefully it's okay, it's at anchor. And so the way to get back, hit escape, and you want to go to, now the impulse rate where I had anyway was to go to activities, and then from activities go to challenges, and then from challenges to find our way all the way to the Bering Hardship, or Bering Hardship, I guess that's a pun, haha. And if you do that, then you end up at the beginning of the Bering Hardship, and that's not what you want. So we're going to go back and instead go to boat, and we remember that the boat we were on was the 50-foot performance cruiser. So we go to the boat, not to the challenge. So here we are, and it tells us that we are in the middle of a challenge. If we click and I'll off, make it go away. So now, when I first came on, you would see a map which looked almost exactly like that, except that I was heading straight for shore. I was heading in a northwest direction, so I had to account for that. I don't know how it happened or why it happened, but I had to account for it and swing back out, and I got myself at roughly 45 degrees to the wind. The wind, if you remember yesterday, was further from the north than it is now, so I had to swing even further to the northwest, or northeast, east-northeast. And so that's the course I laid out yesterday. Yesterday, by the way, I had finished off after I'd gone offline, I laid out a course in this direction, which is the way we were supposed to go. And okay, we are a day and a half in, and we are less than a third of the way through, so it's going to take us 3 or 4 days to get there. So, my credit to all the people who did it in less than, well, did it in 3 days. So, where are we? We want to get on course. If we go on course, we're going to be straight into the wind, so we're going to have to tack back and forth across the wind in order to maintain any speed at all. And I wish I knew what my speed along the course turns out to be. And I'd know how far I would go before I tack. And I'm just thinking, this is the distance to the next waypoint. It says, just distance to say exactly what it is, so I'm assuming it's 3.8 nautical miles. Although sometimes when a tip jumps up, it'll have everything listed in miles, so I'm not sure. This is the time to go, so that's obviously in minutes. So it's half an hour or so before I get to there. And the velocity on course would be, velocity on course is right now 6.8 knots. So if I maximize the velocity on course, I should be okay. It's going to be kind of hard to pick exactly where the velocity on course is because of this wind going up and down, but it seems to be fairly stable. So that's part of the task ahead of us, but we have to get back to perfect trim here to start off. So the lead car, the halyard, and the lead car, this is the jib we're talking about. So the curve in the jib is too far back, try to pull the halyard or backstay. So we will, if we can find it here, jib lead car, I'm looking for the jib halyard, so try to pull the jib, well there we go, I fixed that pretty quick. And we want to ease the lead car. Okay, let's talk about the lead car here. The lead car is up here. It's not back and forth across the deck like it did in the racer, but it actually goes forward and aft. as it does on this boat. So we want to ease the lead car back. I don't know which one would be ease, which direction. But we will see. So, lead car. Here it is there. Jib furl, main sheet, backstay, jib lead car. We want to ease that. Easing that makes it go forward. No, makes it go backward. Easing that makes it go backward. Oops, too far back. Okay, so we're dead on. Now let's go back to the mainsail. Mainsail is too round. Try to pull the Othall, the Cunningham, and try to pull the Traveler and ease the sheet. So if we go back here, here's our Traveler, and that's way over there. It seems to me if we ease it, it's going to pull it. Easing it, I'm assuming it's going to pull it that way. Let's see what it says. See if we can find it first of all. Here we go. Oh, here we go. The Traveler at 45 degrees. It looks like it's close. Okay. You probably didn't notice that, but the my display went blank because I clicked off screen on the second monitor. Anyway, the Traveler looks like it's way over here somewhere. Now where'd it go? There it is, backstay Traveler, but it says here at 40%. Okay, so we want to try to pull the Traveler. If I pull the Traveler, that's going to make it tighter and tighter, everything. So let's ease the sheet instead. So now the main sheet's too loose. Alright, let's try pulling the Traveler some more. We are at 100%. Try to pull the Traveler. Right, we're at 100% and we're still showing that as a problem. So let's try easing the sheet a little bit without being too much. Oh, there we go. We managed to get rid of that for a moment. Okay, so we're right there. So, try to pull the Cunningham. You were pulling on the Cunningham, and that's gone away, and try to pull the Othall. And everybody's happy, including the jib. So, and now we're going at 8.2 knots, which is not quite 45% or degrees off the angle of the wind. So our question is, can we get much faster, and will that mean we're going to go further and further off course? So I'm going to scroll inwards here so we get a better look at the course that we're on. And according to this, it would take us half an hour to get there. But our velocity on course is the speed computed towards the next waypoint. So I imagine if we go off course too far, that's going to drop. So if we go closer and closer on course, it'll be slowed down by the wind. So there should be an optimum in here somewhere. So let's try that. Let's try. It's waving between 5.7, 5.3, 5.2 and 5.7. Now it's gone way up to 1 or 6 knots. Kind of hard. Let's see what we can do anyway. Let's go further off course. 5.6, 5.3. Seems to me we're going more and more slowly. So what we did was went further and further off course. We want the maximum velocity to this waypoint here. So let's see what happens if we go back the other way. 5.6, 5.8. It's sort of going up and down. 5.9, 6.0. 5.8, 5.9, 6.0, it stopped right there at 6.0. So I pull closer and closer to the wind, 6.1, 6.2. 5.9, kind of stopping right there. So let's kind of pull back. Well, let's go a little bit up, 6.0. Okay, we're going further and further into the wind, so our angle's getting lower and lower. We're up to 6.2. Following this number right here. So I'm thinking maybe we're too close into the wind, so let's pull back a bit. Our angle to the wind is 34 degrees. And we are going in terms of velocity somewhere in the low fives. Doesn't look good. Where are we in terms of the map? We went quite far off. Pull back a bit. Roughly 6 kilometers is pretty close to the best we can do. This is dropping off a bit, 13.1 knots. So, we're going to run on that for a while. Now, one of the other things I was going to do when I left yesterday was play around with pulling directly on the main sheet, or pull directly on the lines to see whether it could go faster than if I scrolled after finding them during the E and Q thingy here. So, for example, right now I'm on the main sheet, or it's 81%. So this is the main sheet here. So if I clicked on the main sheet, I could move that quite quickly and make adjustments very quickly. But then it comes to trying to get the right one here, which doesn't seem too hard for these being, okay, that's the main halyard, that's the main sheet, right? No, that's the main reef, that's the Otal, or that's the Cunningham, that's the Otal. Over on the other side, we have the number 4. I don't remember raising the number 4. And that's number 4 halyard, the number 4 sheet. That's the jib halyard. Okay, what's this? The jib halyard's at 106. It starts to get kind of hard to follow them once you're in here. If you're pretty good at it, you can probably get better right here. That's the jib halyard. Which is presently curled around the forestay, and this is, actually that looks like a jib. It's got a furl thingy here, right? Can't see it from this angle. Yeah, there's a furl there. That looks like a jib. So what the number 4 is all about, I'm not sure. Well, right here it says number 4 halyard is at 0. But if you hover over that, it says number 4 sheets at 87. Oh, the sheet would probably still be at 87. The halyard being at 0 makes that quite irrelevant. So if you try sheet, or the halyard is at 0, the sheet's higher up. Okay, you got that. So the halyard, the jib halyard is 106. The code 0 is 40, and the jet anchor would be 0 if we could hover over. Okay, so we seem to be okay. And that's the main Otal and the Cunningham and the reef 0, and the main halyard is at 100%. I'm reading this little bit over there. Anyway, what I did find out was that it's very hard to get the smaller sails, especially the jib, up and down, so it's probably just as easy to go through Q and E and pick the one you want to then scroll. As far as the main sheet goes, it's probably easier to get at it from down here. If you jump back here and do it, same with the traveler right here, back and forth. And that's not there. Where's the traveler? That's the sheet. The yellow line is the backstay. The green line is, doesn't tell us what the green line is. We can't get close enough. I'm looking at what moves. There should be a line here for moving the traveler, which is this one. Oh, that's the main sheet. No, the main sheet traveler, which is this one. So yeah, we can move these back and forth once we find them, and the main sheet once we find them, but just as quick, or just as easy at least, to use the Q and E. So now that you're more and more confused, and I've gone off screen again because I've clicked on the wrong one, here we go. Now, we are, looks like we're not reefed, we are going at 3.8, that's not a good sign. So let's try pulling back more and more. And so now we're getting closer and closer on the wind. Pull that off again. Looking at our speed over here, 3.5. So that seems pretty low to me. So what I'm thinking is maybe I should tack to the other side. So I can move that further over. So this would be my sail if I headed straight for this waypoint, which is roughly a little higher than 45 degrees off wind. So let's see what happens if I swing right over. Okay. This is our wind speed. It's not a good 45-degree angle, so it's 38 here, 25 for the apparent. So now we're heading almost straight at it. That's 7.5, but that's going to be back and forth across the wind. And it's also 5.0 nautical miles, which is at the, if I went offline right now, it probably would head in that direction if I were coming from that direction. All right, so my temptation is to lay a course of tacking back and forth, but over the next 24 hours the wind will change. So if I did that, for example, and then that, for now that might work. But depending on the wind, it might not be such a smart idea. Yeah, let's put one in the center here. To be honest with you, I don't know what we're doing here. Yes, we can tack back and forth, we can maintain good speed, but we can't sit here and watch this forever. and the wind could go either direction, in which case we might be actually in irons. So if we were going to maximize our speed through this distance, as it computes there, here we go, we would pretty much have to stay on our ship and guide it through. The other option being that we have someone else who can take over in 2 or 3 hours from now, and then someone else besides that, have somebody always computing our angle to the wind as we moved. So, well, I don't know what to do next. We're still 28 minutes away from heading to the next waypoint, and I don't see a good strategy here. I don't see a good strategy at all. Sails are properly trimmed, so that's not an issue. It's just that we have to leave our little boat behind to its devices. We have to set the course up as best we can forward and then see what happens. Don't like that at all. But what can I tell you? We are roughly 25 minutes in. I'm going to speed that up a little bit. Maybe edit out a couple things. And we'll just have to see how it goes. As I said, we are only less than a third of the way there. It's going to take us about 4 days or so before we actually get to there. So we just have to truck back in. We just have to drop back in every now and then and make appropriate adjustments, and other than that, keep on trucking. So, what was I doing? I was hoping, I'm looking at my scale right now. Right now my microphone is just going crazy. I don't know why, because yesterday it was just fine. Anyway, so if you hit the thumbs up button, please do hit the subscribe button as well. If you are a senior and you have comments to leave in the comment section, please do that, because this channel is made specifically for senior citizens and how they're treated game-wise. So all I can say is, until next time, please do take care.